Medicaid is ending for the low income. I have all the details and what you need to know right here in the video, so let's get right into it. All right, now this is a very important topic that I do want to discuss with you right here in this video, as this is going to impact millions upon millions of low-income Americans, and things are changing. Therefore, I also want to point out what you need to watch for over the coming days, weeks, and months if you are somebody enrolled in Medicaid. Let's get into it and talk through all these details. However, really fast before we do, thank you so much for joining me. If you're new here or if you haven't done so yet, please make sure to subscribe by hitting the button right down below the video, as it's totally free to do so. And because I am your one and only daily advocate, it is my dedication, my commitment, and my promise to you and everybody right here in the community to continuously be here for you right by your side each and every day, watching all this new information hitting the wire, doing the necessary research, and breaking it all down into these short videos, as things are changing very, very rapidly. It's a very busy, confusing, and uncertain time that we're currently living through, which is again why I want to point all this out for you, so you can see how it's going to impact you, your money, your benefits, your lifestyle, your bank account, and of course anything showing up right now we can possibly grab and or take advantage of. So again, thanks so much for joining me. Please subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet, and I'll be here for you no matter what every single day. That's my promise, and I'm sticking to it. All right, now let's get into it and talk about Medicaid, not to be mistaken with Medicare, and what is going on with this program and how it's going to impact millions upon millions of low-income Americans. Now I hope that you can stick with me here for the next couple minutes, as there's a lot of moving parts here. I'm going to try to buzz through this as quickly as I possibly can, but there are some very important things we need to take into consideration because things are changing very rapidly here, and again, this is going to impact a lot of low-income people. Now, I want to make this very clear. Again, like I said, this is Medicaid, not Medicare, okay? This is not going to impact necessarily everybody, but according to the reports here, it looks like it's going to impact at least 14 million Medicaid beneficiaries. It's a lot of people, okay? So we got to pay attention to this and what all these details mean. All right, so why is all of this happening and what is going on here with Medicaid? It all comes down to the expiration of the Public Health Emergency Declaration. Now, this has been in place since early 2020. We've known for a long time now that this is going to be canceled and or expired. Well, that's what's happening right now. And as a result of this, all of these states across the entire country are going to be forced to go through their roles as in who is enrolled in Medicaid and start purging people. In other words, taking people off of Medicaid, okay? Not cool. And again, we've talked about this before in other videos where I've said this is going to be an ugly situation when this whole thing plays out, and here we are. It is upon us, okay? So let me tell you the details as far as what you need to know about this, and again, what I need you to watch for over the coming days, weeks, and months, as you're probably going to get some kind of communication. All right, so as a result of this, about 14 million people right now, according to the preliminary numbers, it could be as high as 25 million people that may be losing Medicaid coverages as a result of this cancellation to the Public Health Emergency Declaration, okay? So as a result of this, states will be forced to go through, because over the last 3 years here, states have not had the ability to go through because of federal law. They have not been able to go through their Medicaid rolls and start taking people off who are maybe ineligible. Well, now that that federal funding is stopping, states have to do this because they're basically broke. They don't have any money to continue funding all of these programs, okay? So as a result of this, they're going to be going through and determining who may not be eligible for Medicaid. As a result of that, it may be a variety of different factors. Let me point out a couple. It is not limited to all of these, but these are a few different reasons why somebody may be losing Medicaid coverages. Too much income, okay? Now again, it doesn't mean that it has to be one or all of these. It just means that these are some of the most common reasons. First off, is increase in income, or maybe income is above the levels that make somebody eligible in the first place. Next, could be moving across state lines. Remember, Medicaid is an interesting program. It is federally funded, but it is administered on the state-by-state level. If you happen to move across state lines over the last couple years here, and if you're still enrolled in Medicaid, be aware of this, okay? Because if you moved across a state, let's just say, for example, you moved from Texas to Florida. Again, I'm just making up an example here. Let's just say that you moved from Texas to Florida and you're still enrolled in Medicaid within the state of Texas. Well, guess what? That's not going to fly, okay? You've got to be enrolled in the state that you're currently living in, okay? So that's something that's going to be a major issue for a lot of people, because a lot of people have been moving here over the last couple years. All right, so those are just a couple of the common reasons. Now, as a result of this, what's going to be happening is states are going to be sending out millions and millions of forms, okay, in the mail over the coming days, weeks, and months. I'm not sure exactly when each individual state is going to do this, but over the coming months here, okay, it's going to be a variety, right? So maybe within a couple states here, it's going to be within the next, month or so. Maybe within a few other states, it might be within the next 2 or 3 months. Either way, there will be all of these forms going out to Medicaid beneficiaries. They're going to want you to fill out this form. Here's the thing. If you receive a form, you probably want to address the details on it, okay? Here's what it looks like according to these states and according to what it looks like with these forms. Now, again, each state may have their own form. It's probably going to look a little bit different depending on the state, but it looks like they're going to be looking for some details about you, looking for your name, your address. Obviously, if they send it to you, they probably already know your address, but again, they just want this filled out, okay? Names, addresses, your income, things like that, and they're probably also going to want to know how many people are within your household as well. And there's probably going to be some other questions on there as well, but these are the details. They're giving people 30 days to respond to this report. Otherwise, if you don't respond, they're basically going to remove people off of Medicaid, okay? So it does not look like everybody is going to be receiving one of these, but it does look like a number, like millions upon millions of people who are currently enrolled in Medicaid will be receiving one of these forms, and you'll need to fill it out, okay? So it's a little bit vague. According to the information that I was finding, it looks like, yes, some people, in fact, millions of people will be getting this form, but it does not look like all roughly 100 million people enrolled in Medicaid right now will be getting this form. So again, I think it's going to determine state by state. That's what's interesting about this and why it is so difficult. And sometimes with programs that are like this, federally funded but state administered, is because every state has their own rules, their own criteria, their own their own plans as far as how they're going to administer this and how they're going to distribute these forms and stuff like that. So that's what I want you to be paying attention for. If you get one of these, you probably want to pay attention to it, and you probably want to address the concerns that they're asking of you, because if you don't, you might be losing Medicaid coverages, okay? So please be very aware of that. Now, here's what they're also going to be doing as well. They're anticipating that with all of these 14 to 25 million people that may be losing Medicaid coverages, they're also going to say, well, you can possibly go to the ACA, Affordable Care Act. Yeah, that's what it is. Affordable Care Act coverages, and you can get, you can get healthcare coverages on there for as low as a few dollars as a monthly premium in some instances. And again, you'll have to look on there. There's a ton of different options on there, things like that. But this does not mean every single person is going to be losing Medicaid coverages. It means that about 14 to 25 million people will be losing Medicaid coverages, but does that mean everybody? No, definitely not everybody. Let me point out a couple of things as well. I do know that there are a lot of you here in this community who are enrolled in SSI, right? Your Supplemental Security Income Beneficiaries or your low income, things like this. If you're still enrolled in SSI, as in you're getting SSI benefits, a couple of things that go along with SSI is number one, Medicaid, and number two, generally SNAP benefits, otherwise known as Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program or food stamps. Okay, if you're still enrolled in SSI, for the most part, you're probably fine. Unless you've moved across the state borders here over the last couple of years, you're probably fine, because here's the thing. With SSI, you don't really get an option to increase your income. You can have SSI as your income, and if you have any other income, as in earned income from a job, you pretty much don't get SSI, right? You can have virtually no income as an SSI beneficiary. You can have a little bit, but it is so incredibly small that, for the most part, is if you're enrolled in SSI, you're pretty much fine with this. Now, again, I can't guarantee anything because everybody's situation is very, very different here, but this is mostly for the people that have enrolled in Medicaid over the last couple of years here, because of all the parameters that have been in place here, where people have known that most people cannot be purged off of Medicaid over the last 3 years, and they've said, hey, why don't I just enroll in Medicaid? I know that they can't purge me off even if I'm ineligible, so why not enroll, right? So this is what this mostly pertains to, is people who maybe have higher incomes than enrolled in Medicaid and knew that they weren't eligible for it, but took it anyway because they knew that they couldn't be removed from it, okay? And again, this is just what they're doing. This has nothing to do with me. I've been talking about this for a while now, that this is going to be a bad situation when this plays out, and here it is. This is playing out. So here's what it comes down to. Most of the states are going to be implementing this purge in their Medicaid rolls starting in April and going through about June or July. So just please be aware of that. This is going to take a variety of time here. It's going to take several months depending on the state you're located in. Depends on when your state is going to go through with this. As early as sometime in mid-April, or as late as June, July, something like that. But generally between that time frame, basically April through July, this is all going to take place. And those letters that I was talking about will be going out from your states, and they're going to be asking you to respond to that with your, updated information. So please be on the lookout for that as well. And again, it totally depends on which state you're located in. Some states might do it early, some states might do it in the middle, some states might do it kind of in the middle of summer, sometime like that. Either way, we got to watch for it, right? Very important stuff here. So either way, this is what we know as of right now. As I do get more details on any of this, of course, I'll be back here for you, breaking it all down and letting you know the details about this. But as of right now, it's just kind of a waiting game. All we have to really do is wait for further communication from your state, anything like that. If you don't hear anything, I guess, as they say, no news is good news, right? Well, that might be the case too, because it depends on the state, like I said, that you're located in. And if you don't get a letter, then I guess, you might be in the clear. You might be fine. They may only be sending out the letters to those individuals who are at risk of losing Medicaid coverage. And one more time, as well, as like I said, this is specifically Medicaid, not Medicare. Big difference between these programs. Medicaid, not Medicare. Anyway, hope this one helps you. Again, I'll keep watching this for you. And as I do get those details, I will continue to come back for you and break it all down into these short videos to help you out in any way that I can, as well as keeping you updated with everything going on as things are changing so incredibly fast. And again, we've seen this one coming, but not surprised that we are here. And this is going to create a huge mess with everything else going on, including the ending of the extra allotment for SNAP benefits. Oh yeah, that as well, right? Now, obviously, that started as of the beginning of March. But again, it's just another thing coming back on the low income and people that are struggling right now. Does it really make sense? I don't know. You know what I mean? So, man, we got to continue watching all this stuff. Either way, please subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet. Share the video with your friends from your social media and go back and check out any of the other thousands of videos here on the channel. Until next time, enjoy your day, and I'll catch you again later in the next